I'm Greg Tepper. That's Greg Powers. And this is This Week
in Cruton.
I think people were really excited about it. It's This Week in Recruiting with Greg Powers of Next Level Athlete. Follow him on Twitter at GPowersScout. Follow Next Level Athlete on Twitter at NextLevelD1. Hello, Powers.
What's going on?
How are you?
Good.
Do you ever, like, most people call you Powers, right?
Yes.
And most people call me Tepper.
Or Tep.
Most people call me Pickle.
Right.
If that matters.
It does.
It should.
It does.
Pickle's that's a dope last name.
It is a pretty cool last name. But what I was really driving at is the fact that nobody wants to call anybody Greg anymore.
Nope.
Nobody wants to call anybody Greg. This is two people who are holding the flag, waving the banner for Greg.
Well,
and they're just like, nah.
The bad thing is we can't come up with an original idea for a last name of the show because you already have Tep and Step. So
yeah.
I mean, if it was
Tep Power.
Nah. I mean,
no, we are not doing Tep Power.
The powers of Tep.
No, all this revolves like all around you though.
Well,
true.
Look,
nope, we're shutting that down.
If it ain't broke,
we're shutting that down.
You will notice that it's Tep and Step, not Step and Tep.
Well, because Tep and Step flows better.
Yeah, they flow the
Step
same.
and Tep.
They flow the same.
Guys, we've already made the logo. It's This Week in Recruiting. Getting to a number of recruiting topics around the state. You can find This Week in Recruiting. Find his fine work at texasfootball.com/recruiting. Let's start with our prospect on the rise. Our prospect on the rise, going to the private school ranks. San Antonio Antonian. Known Antonian College Prep, however you want to say it. It's Antonian High School in San Antonio. Their defensive end, Devon Grant, is headed to the 2020 All-American Bowl. A Colorado commit, a guy who may be off people's radar, probably because he plays at the private school ranks, and especially if you're not playing in the private school ranks really in the DFW or Houston area, right. I feel like you fly under the radar a little bit. But Devon Grant is certainly a name to know, and when obviously he's not flying too far under the radar, he's going to the All-American Bowl, and
he's committed to Colorado and one of those hybrid edge defenders. Mm-hmm. And you love seeing these local guys, too, from the San Antonio area be selected to play in the All-American Bowl. So that's a tradition that they've continued to keep up over the years, is to make sure that they get a couple of local guys into that game. So that'll give a local flair to the game. And, of course, we have the San Antonio Sports All-Star game that's in there on the same weekend, so a heavy dose of San Antonio players to watch.
This is a guy who's not quite in our top 100, but I know you've been impressed with his senior tape. He's flirting with that top 100.
Yeah, he's quick off the edge and has a good frame to build on. So I think anytime that you're picking up Pac-12 offers, et cetera, that you're a guy that's legitimized within that. So I think that he'll represent the city well and has a chance to rise even higher by having a national platform or national showcase to show off his skill sets and talents. You never know when one of these guys under the radar comes in and blows the doors off.
Let's get to our commit of the week. Our commit of the week, we're going out east. Longview isn't just a place with a great quarterback. It's also got an outstanding defensive lineman. Sawyer Goram-Welch has pulled the trigger. He is headed to Oklahoma State. This is a guy who was who really showed out in that state championship run last year. Probably at least their best defender in the front seven, I would say, and a guy who I think is starting to make a name for himself, and Oklahoma State, I think, is getting a good one here.
Well, the nose tackle is very important, as you see in the 3-4 defense that Longview likes to employ, but they also use SGW, as we like to call him, Sawyer Goram-Welch, in a number of unique ways. He mostly lines up as a defensive end in their scheme, but they'll slide him around to create some mismatches, and I just think as he grows and develops, he's exactly the type of kid that can do the same thing in college. He's 270 now. He's probably going to be playing closer to 290, 310 range once he fills out and develops in the Oklahoma State strength and conditioning program, and he kind of has everything you're looking for up front. He has a good motor. He's very strong. He uses his hands well.
I was going to say, you watch that tape we were just running there. His upper body strength is very evident. He's getting off blocks. Right. He's getting extended. He's looking for the ball carrier, and then he's shedding the blocker. It's really impressive to watch.
And picked Oklahoma State over SMU, so Mustangs are in the midst of a big season, but that was one that they lost this week whenever Oklahoma State was able to secure a commitment from Goram-Welch.
Let's head back to the San Antonio area for our underclassman of the week. This is a guy that we found out, I want to say we started hearing about him maybe even 2 years ago.
Yeah.
But Wyatt Beagel, the quarterback at Cibolo Steele, has picked up another offer, this one from Rice. He's getting a lot of interest from a lot of programs. Rice is one of the first to give him that offer. But I know that he has been to a lot of camps. He's been at Oklahoma. He's been at Baylor. He's been at Louisiana Tech. And I know this is a guy that you were awful impressed with when he was at the Next Level Athlete Top 100 Showcase.
Yeah, and he's one of those leaders off of the field, too. He's a guy who kind of commands respect. He's a very well-spoken quarterback. So I think that he's one who's just about to take off. When you're looking at top quarterbacks in the state, this is one of the top ones in the Syntex next year coming out. And, of course, you have guys like Nate Yarnell that's down there that's now leading the Lake Travis program in the absence of Hudson Card. Austin Westlake always seems to produce a good quarterback or two. You got Lucas Coley down there playing for Cornerstone Christian, Travis Steele, San Antonio Reagan. So there's some good quarterbacks in that area, and he has a case to say that he's one of the best, regardless of class, in the San Antonio Syntex region of the state, and I think that things will continue to go good for him. He's got it together on the field and off, as the offer from Rice would indicate.
So he is our he is presently Steele's leading passer. That's not a surprise. He's completing 65% of his passes, 1,577 yards, 12 touchdowns against 4 interceptions. Also their leading rusher, 451 yards.
Yeah, he's super quick off his feet. Just watching these highlights.
He's very, very quick, and he's very kind of fluid as well. It's some got to keep an eye on Cibolo Steele quarterback.
Well, Steele's got a couple of losses this year, but I think they're a team because of his development that continues to peak as they enter the playoffs. They're always going to be a team to watch in the playoffs, and of course, Wyatt's play at quarterback is going to really probably indicate how far deep a run they make.
It's Greg Powers, the Next Level Athlete. Join us on This Week in Recruiting here on Texas Football Today. Get involved in the conversation at hashtag TF Today. On to our Recruit of the Week. Our Recruit of the Week.
Recruit of the Week.
We're just going to talk.
And we're segueing into the stuff with Step, too.
This show is all about Cy Lakes and Tom Ball Memorial. That's what today's
73
episode
grabs
is.
your attention.
70. He is up for the Mr. Texas Football Player of the Week. It's Cy Lakes quarterback Sofian Massoud. This guy put up stupid numbers. Put up 10 touchdowns, total touchdowns, and they lost.
Right.
But this is a guy. He's new to the area. He's from the Bronx, right?
Yep.
He's from New York. Moved down to Houston and to the Cypress in the offseason. Is a Houston commit. And, I mean, the numbers are obviously impressive, but when you watch the tape, these aren't just empty numbers. This is a guy who's certainly got a number of an interesting skill set that I think should have Houston fans excited.
And this is actual highlights from that 70-73 game, and I don't usually cast my vote for a player whose team loses for Mr. Texas Football Player of the Week. I usually cast my vote for somebody on a team who wins, but when you have a 10 touchdown performance, you convinced me.
Yeah.
You convinced me. So I think that even though it was a loss, his play is sticks out above and beyond some of the other players in the state this week for me. And Houston's getting a really good player. Great that he moved into town, and great that he's now able to stay in state. And one player who I hadn't, because of his off-season move-in, that I hadn't had a chance to watch extensively on tape, so I'm glad that he had this performance, because this week I dived in and watched a lot of him, and he's a guy I think that could play multiple positions.
Yeah.
I mean, he could play quarterback, wide receiver, maybe even safety. A very talented athlete that Houston's getting, and I'm interested to see how they use him within their schemes and with their team.
Well, and you know, he's probably that athlete type. He's probably that kind of guy. But what I'll tell you is that if you look at the history of Houston, they don't have a problem with taking the guy who is the quote unquote athlete and putting him at the quarterback spot, right? I mean, they did it with that's what happened with De'Eric King. That's what's happening right now, kind of with Bryson Smith. They were those athlete types who played quarterback in high school. Maybe they moved him around, but that doesn't mean that he is suddenly going to, he's going to stick at receiver. He's going to stick on the defense. Houston has a history of making sure that they put their guys in the best position to win, regardless of where that is.
He's got a quarterbacky feel to him, too. I mean, he feels the pocket well, moves around, makes plays outside the pocket. He puts up rushing numbers, but he's not just quickly pulling the ball down every time and then dashing down the field. I mean, he's keeping his eyes locked on his receivers, and he's trying to make a throw first, and I like that about his game.
Are you going to a game this weekend?
Well, that's why I didn't put this weekend
I know.
recruiting game of the week on into the story because I wanted to. I was hoping to get your help.
Okay,
You know,
I'm here.
I'm
I'm here. This is primarily an advice show.
I'm trying to find the game,
Yeah,
the right
is it-
game to go to, and I'm down to 2:
Okay.
Mansfield Summit and DeSoto,
Okay.
or McKinney North and John Tyler, and they both have different draws to them. I think for me, one, I've never been to the new stadium in McKinney, so I haven't had the opportunity to go there yet. I've heard it's nice, but I've never attended a game there. DeSoto Mansfield Summit probably has more underclassmen to keep my eye on, but I think the McKinney North John Tyler game might have a chance to be a great game.
Can I give you
Sure.
you my advice?
Yes.
Go to McKinney North and John Tyler, and here's why.
Okay.
One, because I know you live here in the DFW Metroplex. It's an opportunity to see an East Texas team like John Tyler come to town and see them. Two, in a couple of weeks, you're probably going to DeSoto Cedar Hill, right?
Maybe.
I know that ends up being Slappy City.
I did see both of those teams once already, and that really weighs heavily on as I make my schedule.
So you've seen DeSoto already?
I saw DeSoto versus Dallas Jesuit. So
Go see that one. Go see
there we
McKinney
go.
North.
Locked
Go
in.
to
This
the
week
new
in
stadium.
recruiting game of the week now. John Tyler at McKinney North.
Get eyes on Keaton Crawford. Keaton Crawford,
yep. Texas commit, and then of course you got the Frazier brothers at McKinney North and the Markowitz brothers.
Yes,
too.
and great stadium too. Great stadium.
There we go.
Not to say that Vernon Newsom Stadium, although DeSoto game's a Thursday.
They're both Thursday.
Oh, they're both Thursday.
They're both Thursday.
Ah.
So
And-
this is another great. This is a strong play because it opens up
Here's the other thing.
Friday.
Here's the other thing. Okay. Here's the other thing. It looks like it's going to rain tomorrow.
Yep.
Thursday night here in DFW Metroplex. So you want to be in as nice of a press box as possible. And the press box at Vernon Newsom Stadium is wonderful.
Yep.
Very, very nice.
Can get crowded.
McKinney.
There we go.
That's the play.
There we
That's
go.
the play. He's Greg Powers of Next Level Athlete. Follow him on Twitter at GPowersScout. Follow Next Level Athlete on Twitter at NextLevelD1 to see his fine work at TexasFootball.com/recruiting. Powers, appreciate it. Let's do it next.
Let's do it.
No, actually, hold on.
Whoa!
Uh-oh.
Stop.
Scheduling
Announcements.
change.
Yeah, I'm not going to be on the show next Wednesday. I'm out of town.
So I get Wednesday off.
You get Wednesday off.
Wow.
Yeah. Me too.
Mrs. Powers, if you're watching,
What's that mean?
we're going to lunch. How about a lunch date?
Oh, that's very nice. You're going
Aw.
to go to Deli Man?
No. Bluefish? But I do like Deli Man.
Are you so you're going to take her for sushi?
That sounds good.
The
doesn't it?
lunch sushi is a bold move.
Yeah.
It's a good play, isn't it?
I think it's a romantic
Glorious.
play.
Glorious too. Glorious can be.
Oh,
Glorious can be heavy,
Glorious.
though. Glorious is wonderful.
matter, yeah.
Glorious is excellent. By the way, please sponsor us, all these restaurants.
But then you have to take the afternoon off.
That's
You-
the thing.
You know
That's
that
a
I'll
heavy
make a
lunch.
play to try to for it to be Hutchins.
Oh,
And
hell
be like,
yeah.
oh well, Hutchins.
Hell yeah. Go to get some Hutchins barbecue.
Now I'm hungry.
Thanks, Powers.
Yeah, me too.
We are Texas.